Hello, my name is Theodore Morrison, and this is my final for sustainable energy. And I'm gonna be covering low carbon electricity for Israel. Well, we're going to talk about the two methods to propose here. One is going 60% nuclear like France, and the second is going 60% solar. In order to decide what is the better option here, we need to look at the pros and cons of each. So for solar, solar requires much less infrastructure. It's just some panels, some foundations, and then some cable to connect it all up, and that's about it. It's much less imposing. People are pretty used to seeing solar panels along the side of the road or on rooftops, on businesses, all over the place. People see it. A lot of people also broadly understand and accept solar energy. They understand like some light hits it, makes some electricity, and they get to watch Game of Thrones. Some of the cons, however, it's very low density. Individual panels themselves don't create a whole lot of energy and well, don't create a whole lot of electricity. And you need to have a lot of panels. They have a very low capacity factor, meaning they only work about 20% of the time, or they can only produce 20% of the max theoretical energy they can produce. And they have a very low lifespan, needing to be replaced roughly every 20 years. And then combination of that capacity factor and that energy density, in order for Israel to get 60% solar energy, it would require almost 13,000 acres of land to just be dedicated to solar panels alone, not counting other battery energy storage methods in order to get that energy to be able to be used 24/7. Now, nuclear, some of the pros here is a very high energy density. Single nuclear power plants could produce 3 gigawatts of electricity. That's a lot. They have a very high capacity factor. Most nuclear power plants run at about 90% capacity factor, meaning they produce 90% of the theoretical max power they can produce. Much less land usage. In order for Israel to have 60% nuclear, it would only require 400 acres of total land being dedicated to nuclear power plants. And then they have a very long lifespan. Nuclear power plants are built most of the time with roughly a 40 to 50-year lifespan in mind, but with inspections, maintenance, and upkeep, they can easily be extended to 60, 70, 100 years of lifespan. Some of the cons, though, nuclear power is largely misunderstood. People think it's scary because of the accidents that have happened, and they don't understand how the power is produced and what caused the accidents. The next thing is it's the imposing structures. Nuclear power plants, it's these massive cooling towers and chimneys and reactor containment buildings. It's very massive, scary. It's not on a human scale. It makes people feel very small and intimidated by it. And then like the last thing is waste. Around the world, nobody really knows what to do with waste. Like there's a bunch of different things that are being done here and there, but there's no singular standard on what to be done or what should be done with nuclear waste. So, what should Israel do? I think it's pretty clear between the two options what would be the better of the two. And well, the winner is nuclear power. Between the reduction of land use alone, I think it's the option because Israel does not have a ton of land in the first place. It's a very small country, not a lot of land, needs a lot of power, and using solar would eat up a large swath of that land and go into natural preserves. But for this to happen, some policy needs to be implemented. And well, first, Israel kind of needs to admit to its nuclear weapon stockpiles and sign on to become a member of the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty or Non-Proliferation Treaty. Um, this would make it so Israel could import nuclear technologies and nuclear fuel from other countries. The next is create some regulations and legislation that would allow for the conversion of fossil fuel-based plants to become nuclear power plants. And this is important because all of the power generation, steam generation side of um, conventional fossil fuel power plants is the same as nuclear power plants. It's just where the heat comes from. However, fossil fuel plants, because of what's in the things that it's being burned, they release a little bit of radiation to the area. And most regulations around the world for nuclear power plants, the radiation levels have to be very low. And because of the radiation released by those fossil fuels into the area, plants can't be built there or converted into nuclear power plants. And converting a plant would cut a large amount of the cost and infrastructure down because everything's already there. You just gotta swap out a piece of it and it's good to go. So yeah, that is the differences between 60% nuclear, 60% solar, and why I believe that Israel should go 60% nuclear and some policy implementation to go along with it. Thank you for coming to my Teddy Talk. Oh.